Shout out to each and every one of you guys. We're going to talk about the results of the weekend fights. Just a little bit of chit chat. First of all, though, we'll be going through the Reggie Broke Prograis Josh Taylor fight. The link is in the video before this video. The link is in the video before this video, so you guys can check it out. I am what you need. If you want to, you like the content that you see, you can subscribe to my channel. You can share these videos, as well as, most importantly, you can also donate to my channel via Western Union or MoneyGram. You can do it online. I can give you the details. Let's get into it. So the weekend fights, my picks for the weekend fights, so you guys would know. I picked Derek Chisora to beat David Price. I never said by knockout, but I thought he would have knocked him out, and he did. I picked Adrian Granados to beat Robert Easter Jr., but Robert Easter Jr. beat Adrian Granados. I haven't seen that fight. I haven't seen the Derek Chisora fight yet. Picked Shakur Stevenson to beat Joet Gonzalez, and he did so in comprehensive fashion. I picked Lee Selby to beat Ricky Burns, and he did that as well. Seemed to have been a close fight. I picked Regis Prograis to beat Josh Taylor. Josh Taylor beat Regis Prograis. I picked Erickson Lubin to beat Nathaniel Gallimore, and Erickson Lubin did. And I picked Chayafon Munsri, also known as Wenyathan Menyathan, to beat Simpiwe Konko, and Chayafon Munsri did so. So out of my picks, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. 5 out of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 picks. 5 out of 7 ain't bad. All right. Now, unofficially, as you guys know, I had Regis Prograis beating Josh Taylor 8 rounds to 4. I think most of the people who picked Regis Prograis or had him winning had him winning because, again, the fact that he was landing the cleaner shots on Josh Taylor for most of the fight. Josh Taylor couldn't find him. In fact, in the post-fight press conference, Josh Taylor said that Regis was notoriously difficult to hit. And that's why I thought he lost the fight, actually. He did make some adjustments in the middle rounds, trying to rough up Regis on the inside so that he could land his shots on the inside on Regis. And I did have him winning round 6, 7, 9, and 10. Okay. 10 was kind of a swing round, but nonetheless, I gave him round number 10. I even gave him round number 9, but Regis did do some good work in that as well. But I thought that Regis won the majority of rounds of the fight, including rounds 11 and 12. The fight was a lot more competitive than Regis expected. That much I can tell you. Regis thought that, it would be more of a one-sided fight where he would dominate. It was to some degree like that, but because he was mostly doing the body work. Everybody was talking about how Josh Taylor was the guy that does the body work. They were talking about Josh Taylor being the better boxer. I didn't see that. I saw Regis being the better boxer. Regis had the better defense. I thought that Regis did more damaging punches to the body. Josh Taylor's face tells the story of what Regis did to his face. They say it was a headbutt, but even if it was a headbutt, Regis was working that eye really well, and Josh Taylor's eye is still closed to this day. Regis went to the hospital just to do basic checkups. He got a little bloody nose from the fight and a slightly swollen lip. Some marks on his head because he did take some headshots. But at the end of the day, Regis, he came out much better than Josh Taylor did. Josh Taylor looked like he was in a war. Regis didn't look so much like he was in a war. I thought that Regis won that fight comprehensively. Some people thought it was closer, so some people had it 7-5. I can go through it and show you guys why Regis won that fight, because a lot of you guys were watching Josh Taylor's flurries, and some people were saying that Regis didn't throw the jabs. Regis threw the jab more than Josh Taylor threw the jab. That's just a fact. And landed the jab much more than Josh Taylor landed the jab as well. I wouldn't say he did it for the majority of the fight, but he did it for quite a lot. Regis did not have a height advantage. He did not have a reach advantage. None of that shit. and he still was able to negate all of that and do well. In fact, Josh Taylor had to fight him on the inside. That was where he had his most success. Once Regis was walking him down on the outside or mid-range, Regis was dominated. On the inside, Regis was competitive with Josh Taylor, putting in that foundation work, which he was able to capitalize on in the 11th and 12th rounds, where he hurt Josh Taylor very badly in the 11th, and he also hurt him in the 12th with a double overhand left that caught Josh Taylor over the temple, back in the air, and Josh Taylor backed out like crazy. Regis never really was fully rocked in the fight. Josh Taylor was physically stronger on the inside, but even with the roughhouse tactics and so on, he could not deter Regis. Regis was a dude on a mission. I thought that Regis won this fight. Regis was very gracious in accepting, allowing, giving Josh Taylor the credit that he deserved. He didn't try to have no controversy. Nonetheless, anybody watching the fight knew Regis won that fight. And Regis even said that he thought that, he had gotten Josh Taylor's timing. He had gotten him down pat, in the later rounds, and that he thought he pulled it through because he came on strong in the later rounds. But it is what it is. This is what I would say about Josh Taylor. Josh Taylor tried to throw flurries at the end of the round. In the final 20, 30 seconds of the round, he would try and flurry to steal the round because people would think that's the last thing that happened. He was also pretty dirty in this fight, but that don't matter. In fighting, it's what it is. It's a fight. No excuses. And but at the end of the day, people got the wrong impression. Josh Taylor did not win this fight, in my opinion. Was it a robbery? Absolutely not, except that one judge's scorecard was ridiculous. They had it 117 to 112, which is basically 8 rounds to 3 with 1 round even for Josh Taylor. That is bullshit. That judge should be fired from boxing. There's no way that Josh Taylor dominated the fight. He did not dominate. In fact, if you guys go back and watch the fight, you will see Regis actually won this fight. And that Regis was doing the better work all the time throughout this fight, except for round, I would say there was a clear Josh Taylor round in round 6 and 7. I thought those 2 rounds were clear Josh Taylor rounds. The other rounds, you had a swing round, round 10. It was competitive at the end of round 12 where they were going toe for toe for a minute, but Regis was getting the better of Josh Taylor. But he did hurt him early on in the round. In round 11, he caught him with an uppercut, as well as he caught him with some beautiful shots to the body. And he also took round 11. So at the end of the day, round 9, round 10, Josh Taylor, it was competitive rounds. I can't really say that round 9 was a definitive Josh Taylor round, but I would say this, that round number 9 was competitive. And if you want to give the home, but like Regis said, they had the home court advantage, and I think the home court advantage is what made these guys think that Regis won the fight. But anyway, those are my picks, and I got 5 out of 7 of them. Robert Easter versus Adrian Granados, I gotta watch that fight. Shakur Stevenson versus Joey Gonzalez, gotta watch that fight. Lee Selby versus Ricky Burns, I kind of browsed through it, but I need to watch the fight. I noticed that the highlights even that they did with Regis versus Regis Prograis versus Josh Taylor, I noticed they left out a whole bunch of rounds. They started off with the 4th round or the 5th round, something like that, and they only gave highlights of what basically Josh Taylor did. And I looked at all of that and I was like, okay, I see what's up. So I feel like Regis was never going to win that fight unless he had stopped Josh Taylor, knock him out. He wasn't. If the fight was anywhere near close, which it was sort of close, I mean, you could say 7-5, 8-4, okay, for Regis, they was going to give it to Josh Taylor. He had the home court advantage. I listened to the narration by the narrators for the fight just recently there. The feed that I'm giving you guys is in Spanish, so you don't have to worry about the narration. You can keep the volume up or not. It doesn't matter. You're not going to understand shit unless you speak Spanish. If you speak Spanish, then you probably should mute it. But I wanted to hear the punches and how hard the punches were. So that's why I have it, so that I could hear the punches. So, I don't know what Spanish is. I can't always cipher through, and I don't care about it. So I can actually listen to the fight, because commentary, man, these guys are so fucking biased sometimes, man. You just never know. So anyway, Regis, I thought, won the fight. I thought Josh Taylor got the decision. This fight I didn't think could go either way. I thought this was a fight that went Regis's way. I thought he was the better boxer in there. I thought he had the better defense in there. I thought that he did the better work. But again, do you get rewarded for landing all those body punches? I don't know. But he was doing some really great work. Josh Taylor acknowledged he had heavy hands. Taylor being a huge junior welterweight, talking about having to move up to welterweight very soon because he's so big. Being a huge junior welterweight, he was able to take some of those shots, but most of the shots he couldn't take. And what he did was he went for a walk. Now Regis was supposed to chase him down and work that body again. He didn't do that. And there were about 2-3 times when Regis had Josh Taylor in the corner, and he could have taken advantage of the situation and really crashed him good, but he didn't do it. I don't know why, but maybe he was seeing Josh Taylor setting a trap for him or something, but he did not do it. Regis did press the anvil on the fight. I liked what he did. I thought that this guy got so much skill, you know, just such a quality boxer. But you know, that's how it goes. If you got, you know, it's boxing, and Regis was cool with it. He said, you know, it's boxing. This is what happens. Don't forget to smash the like button, people, and don't forget you can donate to my channel via Western Union or MoneyGram. We're just going through it. So I've been talking about Regis Prograis versus Josh Taylor for a reason. My reasoning being that I just don't agree with the decision at all. When I did the poll, you guys, 32% of you guys thought that Regis won the fight and thought that the judges' scorecard, the last judges' scorecard was whack as hell, and that to indicate something was wrong with that. I mean, we've seen these kinds of things with Canelo Alvarez. We've seen these kinds of things in other places. So I can't really say that. I'm going to defend this stuff. What the hell just happened? Man, some crazy ass shit keep on happening, people. Anyways, man, I can't defend nothing, but I'm gonna say this though. I would say that, you know, it was crazy though to see that scorecard, as always. I thought the decision was not the right one, but I do say that, you know, I like how Regis took it. You know, he took the loss. He said, you know, y'all gonna see me again. Josh Taylor was saying how he would become world champion again. I do believe these two are going to meet each other again sometime in the future, maybe in a higher weight class, and they will fight again. You know, I always thought about Thomas Hearns versus Sugar Ray Leonard, the second fight. How Hearns didn't get the credit that he deserved. He was supposed to get the win. They gave a draw. You know, these kinds of fights, this is the problem with boxing sometimes, where it's not about popular consensus. It's about boxing. You know what I'm saying? It's about boxing. And Regis closed the show, first of all, like a true champion, right? Second of all, his corner, I was listening. I didn't really hear his corner, but I do believe his corner thought he was going well. Didn't like what happened in the ninth round where he was taking so much punishment to the head. But again, Regis seemed to be in this fight the dude with the more better composure, the guy that was dictating the fight to a great degree. There was times when Josh Taylor dictated the fight, but for the most part, it was Regis dictating. It looked like a Regis fight. But it is what it is, you know. It is what it is. Josh Taylor tried to bully him on the inside, imposing his strength and his size on the inside. I thought he got lower than Regis, so he was able to bump him off with the shoulder every now and then. And Regis got onto that later on in the fight. But even so, Regis was the guy landing the more telling shots to the body. Taylor mostly landed shots to the head. He did get 1 or 2 body shots off, but for the most part, he was more landing headshots. And even when he did land the headshots, they were few and far between because he was missing a lot of the headshots, or they were getting blocked. This is why I don't understand what people are talking about. They were raving about certain things that Josh Taylor did. But quite frankly, I thought that Josh Taylor wasn't landing shit like people think he was landing. You know, a lot of the stuff he was throwing was hitting arms and was hitting the guard and completely missing punches. And Taylor talked about that. I don't think Taylor want an immediate rematch with Regis. He's going to try and unify, but I mean, you know, you saw what happened with Taylor Face. Intangible Boxing, what's up, dude? Yeah, so I'm going to go through that fight with you guys in the next video. You can always check the link. What we're going to do, because I can't run the fight live, they will flag me, is I have the video right now on replay. What you guys got to do is this, right? So you hit the link. It'll go to a particular place. I'm not going to say where on here. And then when it goes there, what you guys are going to do is you're going to reset it to 0. Then what I'm going to do, I'm going to say it in the video anyway. But then what I'm going to do, I'll wait for you all to find the video. When you all guys find the video, you can come back and tell me yet. And then what we're going to do, I'm going to count to 10. I'm going to move from here, right? I'm counting to 10, but I'm using a clock. I'm using a watch. So everybody will set their stopwatch to go to 10 seconds. And I'm going to count out the first 2. I'm going to say 1, 2, so you can get in rhythm with the timing. And then I'm going to go off. Once I reach 10, I'm going to press the play button so that the video will play. And once it starts playing, I'm going to leave a little bit of sound on it so you guys can hear to see if your video is in sync with that video. All right? Everybody can give me some feedback on that. And we're going to get into the fucking fight. And then everybody's watching the fight. And I'm going to just comment and narrate on it. And you guys can leave your feedback in the chat as to what's going on with the fight. So that's the best way to do it. So we can go through this fight. And then I want to go through some other fights like Deontay Wilder versus Tyson Fury. I want to go through that fight because, once again, some people believe that the fight was close. And it was not a fucking close fight. Once again, what I'm trying to explain to people, which a lot of people don't understand. Now, let me just say something about Regis versus Josh Taylor that I like. One of the things I liked about Regis versus Josh Taylor, to be honest with you, both guys had skill. Both guys could have a fight on the inside. They could fight on the outside. Now, to be fair, you would notice that both fighters didn't really throw a whole bunch of combinations. They didn't do 3-punch, 4-punch combinations. It was more pot shot. Why? Because it's high skill inside of there. I thought that, though, Regis was landing the better body shots and doing the better body work throughout the fucking fight, right? But nonetheless, and he did it all the way up to the 12th round, okay? And that's why he backed up Josh Taylor and was hunting them down and all that. But all I'm saying is that in this, and even so, Regis is not really an inside fighter. He is good on the inside, but he's not really an inside fighter. Josh Taylor was supposed to be the inside fighter. The irony of the situation was he wasn't really landing much punches on the inside. There were certain rounds where he actually landed good combinations, good punches. He started tagging up Regis. And that was 9, 10, 6, 7, 8, right? Mainly the latter rounds. Regis was getting hit, but not all the time. In the first 5 rounds, he hardly got hit. In the latter part of the fight, he was getting hit a lot more. And that's because Josh Taylor made an adjustment. He made an adjustment, realizing he had to rough him up on the inside, and he had to keep him on the inside. Once Regis got to the inside, he tried to keep him from clinching. And if he did clinch, he would sort of mangle. He would sort of, tangle him up and then rough him up. And on the roughing up of Regis, once he got the lower ground, he would rough him up. And once you rough him up, then he could get his shots off. Because once you push a guy, like if you push a guy off balance, you can push him out of position, you can catch him with a shot. Even when he tried to do that, Regis was still dipping on the shots, rolling on the shots, getting out of the way of shots, right? And then he would counter. It's when he's countering, sometimes he would be countered as well. So they both counter each other. It was really good shit in that respect. The fight was competitive all the way through. I would say that absolutely neither guy was backing down. Like either guy was determined to win. And they did whatever they could to win. Regis was the cleaner fighter of the two. There was a time, though, he held down Josh Taylor's head and he hit him to the body. But he was saying, that when the referee was like scolding him for that, he was like, hey, man, this guy was doing the same thing to me. You ain't saying nothing to him, you know. he said that to the ref. He's like, ref, what? Come on, man. This man be doing this to me the whole fight, and you looking at me. You know what I'm saying? And I like how Regis handled himself. Like he was like, this man be doing me all this shit. I'm gonna do him back. You know, I like his mindset and his attitude. Even though he lost the fight, in my opinion, I thought that officially that is, I thought that he made a good representation of himself. We learned that Regis have a hell of a chin. We learned that Josh Taylor have a hell of a chin. We learned that Josh Taylor is soft to the body. You can chop him down. You can drop him. I think Regis was pressing the action in the 11th and 12th to get Josh Taylor dropped, to get him stopped. He had him hurt in the 12th and he had him hurt in the 11th. And Josh Taylor leaned all the way on Regis, and he used his body again, his weight, his size, to try and bear down on him, to control it. He was the physically stronger guy, no doubt about that. He was the bigger, stronger guy. Of the two, he was the bigger, stronger guy. But Regis handled that anyway, and I liked that. Even when he was trying to rough up Regis and stuff, Regis still kept his defense pretty tight. He was still getting hit with shots to the head, especially, not so much to the body. He did get hit with some body shots, don't get me wrong. Taylor did get one or two really good body shots, and I acknowledged them. I acknowledged the good body work. But for the most part, it was Regis doing all the body work in this fight. Very good foundational work, very good body shots. There were some good headshots by Josh Taylor, but Regis was riding some of them shots, going with some of the shots, definitely blocking a whole bunch of the shots, and slipping under, dipping under, bobbing and weaving under those shots. The reason why Regis never worried about, like I try to explain to you guys. In fact, his trainer actually told him to step around. He said when he comes at you, you step. When he try to bum rush you, you step around him, and you land the punches. Again, if you were listening to the corner, what the trainers were saying, you would have heard him say that. I think he said it after the first round. They were saying that to him. So once again, the thing about Regis that made him so cool, and I really enjoyed him, was the fact that it don't matter your fucking reach. He gonna get to you, just like Canelo. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, the approach that Canelo has in his fights, to me, Regis had the same type of approach, which is what made it for an exciting fight. He counterpunch you, he lead off, but he come at you, and I really enjoyed that. I really enjoyed what I saw. I'm gonna talk to you intangible in a minute. Now, that's the only fight I really actually watched. I didn't watch the other fights. I went to sleep and all of that, but I do know Derek Chisora knocked out David Price. I saw the highlights of it. I didn't watch the fight. We expected that though. With Robert Easter's win over Adrian Granados, I was kind of surprised to hear that. I heard it was a firefight nonetheless. I think the commenters were surprised that, first of all, Robert Easter won in such dominating fashion by the judges. They were kind of alarmed by that because they thought it was a fight where it was trading a lot. I don't know what happened in that fight. Again, you have to look at the person who was giving the more telling shots. It's interesting listening to some people say that, for instance, Josh Taylor was hitting Regis with the more telling shots. I didn't see that, okay? The reason why I say I don't see that, because if you just look at their faces, remember, Josh Taylor was doing mostly headshots, right? His eyes like a fucking golf ball. And that ain't from headbutts, okay? Regis they probably banged heads, but the reason that eye swollen like a golf ball, because it was hit with a hand. Those overhand lefts, okay? But nonetheless, I digress. The point is that the people who say that Josh Taylor was hitting harder than Regis, I don't know what the fuck they talking about, all right? The guy who was in trouble for round after round wasn't Regis, okay? It was Josh Taylor. He was always in trouble, all right? Regis got him in trouble in the 11th, and he got him in trouble in the 12th. He was trying to put him away. A good ass fight. But at the end of the day, Josh Taylor would always take a walk after Regis land those body punches. Josh Taylor even acknowledged that Regis got heavy hands. He acknowledged that shit. Once again, I'm saying all of this because I actually watched what was actually going on. I could tell you Josh Taylor was successful. I could tell you when he made his adjustments. I could tell you that sometimes he would switch out and box on the outside. Sometimes he would fight on the inside. When he realized he was losing the battle because Regis hit him with a good ass body shot, you would see him back out and would say, go for a walk. He would circle out and Regis had to chase him down. All right. So there was a time when Josh Taylor was actually backing up Regis. And I think it was round 9 and round 10. He was backing him up. And he was walking Regis down. Regis was using, again, what we call the squares of the circle. So you divide the circle into quadrants. So Regis was using the different quadrants to go around, just like Josh Taylor was doing, but in a much more economical way. Josh Taylor also gave Regis different looks. Don't get it twisted. Josh Taylor was giving him different looks. It's not like Josh Taylor didn't have skill. He had skill. I'm just saying he found it hard to hit Regis. He's finding it very hard to get the target. He would sneak in those nice little left hooks to the head, the right hooks to the head, short chopping left hooks and right hooks to the head. I saw that shit. I saw him at times sneak in a nice right to the body, okay? But he was not hitting with left-right combinations or right-left combinations like Regis was. Regis was tagging him with a boom boom or a boom boom. Sometimes he hit him with a left to the soul, a right to the solar plexus, a left to the body, right to the solar plexus, right? I mean, he would go off to the side and boom boom, weak side, you know, beautiful stuff. But once again, you know, we have to look at the defense of both fighters as well. And don't get it twisted. Regis, Josh Taylor had some decent defense, especially, it wasn't so much me using the jab, it was his footwork, how he would circle out. So even when Regis was chasing him down, trying to get him, he, you know, would circle out. And then once Regis land a shot and fall in on the inside, that's where Josh Taylor's really, that's where he had his best success, okay, on the inside. Pushing Regis, roughing him up, pushing his whole full weight on him, pushing him to the ropes. Again, boxing is not just punching. To wear down your opponent, to get him to tire out, you have to physically manhandle him. And what he did as a bigger man made so much fucking sense to me. If I was Josh Taylor, I realize I'm being outclassed by this smaller boxer. I'm gonna do a Marcos Maidala on his ass, and if the ref ain't saying nothing, I'm gonna keep his head down. I'm gonna lock his fucking head up. I'm gonna push my body weight on him. One of the things that Josh Taylor did very well that got him back in the fight for round 6 onwards, in my opinion, was how he would change levels. He would bump right under Regis, and then he would use the shoulder, and literally he would push him with the shoulder. You shove him off with the shoulder. Once he bumped him off, he'd be slightly off balance. He'd catch him with the overhand right, or catch him with the left. Okay? He'd catch him with the left over the top, or right over the top. Beautiful stuff. Sometimes he double it up. Sometimes he hunch him with the shoulder, or okay? Beautiful stuff. And he did it a couple times with the forearm. He pushed off with the forearm and then catch him with the overhand left, whatever. So this is the kind of stuff he was doing. Again, I'm not mad at it. You know, we call it roughhouse tactics. Y'all could call it dirty if you want. But at the end of the day, it's allowed once the referee ain't saying shit. It's a fight. Regis didn't make no excuses. Regis got his nose busted by a punch by Josh Taylor. So it's not like Josh Taylor couldn't crack. He could crack. So it's not like I'm saying, once again, that Regis Prograis, you know, he won the fight and it was robbed. I never said it was a robbery, by the way. The reason why I say it's not a robbery, because you can look at it 8-4. At best, you can look at it 7-5. Some people say at best you can have it as a draw. I don't see it as a draw per se, but some people think so. I don't think it was a draw. I thought it was at 7-5, 8-4 at best. But that's my opinion. And I can always back it up. I could show you guys what I saw. Like I tell you before I break down fights, I literally look at fights. I look at both fighters. I was looking at both of them. I wasn't rooting for nobody, really. I was just watching. And at the end of the day, I really liked what I saw with Regis Prograis. I know this guy has been a lot more skilled than people are giving him credit for. Well, actually, Josh Taylor gave him all the credit in the world. He happy he won the title. I even watched Sean McGuigan afterwards. He was biting his lip, kind of reflecting on shit, realizing maybe we lost that fucking fight. You know, because in his mind, he probably realized that Regis beat this motherfucker. But, you know, everybody had it so that it seemed as if Josh won. So, I mean, what you can do, nobody's really protesting that, and nobody ain't. It's only people, maybe people overseas in America will say so and so, and then it will say, oh, because it's you, he's your boy, that's why you saying he won, when he actually did win. That's the weird thing about it. And it's sad, but it is what it is. I mean, the one thing I liked about Regis, he's a class act. He respected the judge's decision. You know, this is what the judges came up with. Okay. One of the scorecards is whack. It's very wide. It is what it is. You know, same thing happens with Canelo fights, as you know. CJ Ross had to fight with Mayweather draws. I mean, you know how fucked up that was. But at the end of the day, I think the wrong man won, honestly. And I'm not trying to be biased or anything. I'm just looking at it from a boxing perspective. I listened to Regis thought, he said the right man won. You know, the better man won tonight. I love how he was so humble with it, but at the end of the day, you know, I don't think he lost, right? Keith Thurman, I didn't think Keith Thurman lost to Manny Pacquiao, right? I didn't think so. I understood that if the fight was close, Pacquiao was gonna get it. Just like how I understand if the fight's close or competitive, as I like to call it, competitive. Regis been going blowing through everybody. Now he faced this dude. It's a competitive fight. They're gonna give it to Josh Taylor. You know what I mean? It is what it is. And he not even at home. He not in the United States of America. He crossed the seas. Unless he, like you got to do like Errol Spence, Terrence Crawford, Timothy Bradley. You got to dominate these motherfuckers. Otherwise, if you ain't dominate them, they gonna give it to the motherfucker. And that's what happened with this fight. And it's kind of sad, but it is what it is. Prograis was in a competitive fight with Josh Taylor. Like I said, I really can't give Josh Taylor more than 4 rounds in this fight. That's my personal opinion. Maybe I need to go watch the fight again. I'm gonna break down what I saw in the fight, and I'll show you guys why I said Regis won. Again, we have 4 criteria that we judge fights on. Okay, we have 4 criteria we judge fights on. Was Regis comfortable in this fight? Was Regis dictating the fight? Was he doing that? You guys have to answer that question. And let me tell you something. Defense had a big part to play in this fight. And who dictated the fight? Was Regis comfortable on the inside? Was he comfortable on the outside? Even though Josh Taylor was roughhousing him, was he able to still accomplish what he wanted to do in the fight? What did Josh Taylor want to do in the fight? Josh Taylor wanted to, he said, he wanted to stop Regis. I don't think he could have stopped Regis, but it didn't look like he was going to ever stop Regis. Now he started to manhandle Regis, like what he tried to do, where he said, give me the belts outside of the thing. He tried to manhandle him on the inside of the ring, and then he learned that he was getting punished for manhandling Regis. But he kept up with it, and Regis broke his ass down in the 11th and 12th. He still fought like a champion, but he broke his ass down. Okay, he broke him down in 11 and 12. And what did Josh Taylor do? He tried to use his body weight and all kinds of shit just to stop the fight. He wasn't punching no more at a certain point in the 11th round. He was just weighing down his weight. He weighed his whole weight down, pushed Regis to the ropes. Regis just leaned back. You have to stay relaxed under those circumstances. He leaned back, let him do what he's doing, forearm him back into the ropes. And then when he came off, go back to the fucking body again. Made his ass pay. Okay? You see, you guys have to understand what if I'm talking something that you did, like I said before, there's one thing about me you will understand about fights. You will notice, and that's why I kind of liked Regis in this fight, because I was like, man, this guy got some skill, and he's tough, and he also he keep on pressuring you. He pressure you. Now Josh Taylor did pressure him, like I said. I think it's in the 9th and 10th round. I think even the 8th, he pressured Regis. Regis was on the back foot. But then Regis came back and pressured him in the 11th and 12th, right? It was good. It was a good fight, though. It was a good fight. They say it's a fight of the year candidate. Yeah, it could be. But I don't think it is the fight of the year. I think, in my opinion so far, Sean Porter versus Errol Spence was the fight of the year, in my opinion. Sean Porter did some shit, boy, in that fight. Again, Sean Porter was the one, in my opinion, that was dictating the fight. And Errol was reacting to Sean more than Sean was reacting to Errol. I think that Josh Taylor, using his size and strength, seemed to be dictating on the inside. But what you got to ask yourself is, even though he's using his size and strength on the inside against Regis, was he landing as clean as people were making it out to be in the media? You got to ask yourself that question. Because, yeah, it may look like he's dictating, but is he really? You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing that I keep on asking people, because remember, effectiveness, you got to land something. You got to land something. And from what I saw, when Regis landed some good body shots on Taylor on the inside with all the roughhousing and shit he was doing, he would have won taking the walk. Not Regis, right? He would step out, try to use his jab to stay on the outside, or jab on the inside, and then create that distance and circle out. So I'm just asking people, because Regis started attacking the body from round 1. Okay, the first shot that he actually meaningfully landed on Josh Taylor was a right hook to the head. Josh Taylor staggered back a bit. And then the second time he landed, if I do remember, a left to the body. I think it was a left hook to the body, or a straight left to the body. I think it was a left hook to the body. Regis landed on Taylor. If I'm not mistaken. Okay? Taylor threw the first shot that Taylor threw. It didn't land, but was a jab to Regis' body, which Regis caught. And just in case you guys think this is a landing punch, if you For example, if you are here, right, and a guy throws a jab to the body, and you do like this, you catch it, catch that jab with the 2 mitts. So that, in that case, you didn't really get hit with a flush shot. You take the steam off the punch. It might touch your body, but, and you might even do like this. You might do like this, but you actually caught the jab. Okay, so there's a lot of things that I like. That's why I said to people, you gotta understand boxing. You understand? You gotta understand boxing. If you don't understand what's going on in there, you're gonna actually be under the wrong impression. And then, especially with commentators in the media and replays, they'll make you feel that, you know, this guy's winning the fight when he's not winning the fight. You know, Josh Taylor, the one thing he was doing was trying to steal the rounds by the last 20 minutes of the round. After Regis do all that good work inside the round, he would try and flurry and stuff and land shots on Regis. And he still wasn't landing shit, but it is what it is, you know. I'm just saying, I don't know what you guys was watching, but this is what I was seeing. All right? Maybe you missed it. Maybe you was looking at Taylor too much. Some of you was just watching a Regis all the time. You can't be watching a one fucking fighter. You got to watch a both of them. That's just my opinion. I don't know what you guys think. Okay, so yeah, so with the weekend fights, I'm gonna talk to you guys about the other fights, but what I want to do in the next video, I'm gonna give you all time and everything, is the link is in the video before this video. Okay, go to the video before this video and get the link to the fight because it's there. Once you get the link to the fight, you're gonna have to reset the link to 0. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put on a stopwatch here. You guys get a stopwatch if you got a stopwatch, and we're gonna sync it to 0, and we're gonna start the stopwatch at the same time. I'm gonna say 3, 2, 1, and we'll start the stopwatch, and we're gonna count to 10, and I'm gonna be able to get across from here over across there. This feed might stop. Don't worry about it. And I'm gonna go across to there, and I'm gonna at the count of 10. We are all gonna turn on the video. All right. I'm gonna come back across here, right? While it's playing on the television screen for me, I always be able to see it on the television screen, and then we're gonna see what's up. We're gonna see what's up with that. Hey, talking about that, I watched that Lucilia Riker, right? This is the woman that y'all was talking was the best women's boxer because I think she's 54-0 or something like that. I was looking at Lucilia Riker. She reminded me of Christina Hammer. Christina Hammer, pretty much, that was Lucilia Riker. She won all that, and she didn't lose a boxing match. It was a kickboxing match she went into, was against some guy. It was kickboxing. It wasn't boxing. So you can't, kickboxing is not fucking boxing. I mean, come on now. Kickboxing is not boxing, okay? And they're talking about the physical strength of the guy and so on. But Lucilia Riker, she all right. She was an all right boxer for her time. I mean, she was good. You know what I'm saying? Clarissa Shields is like light years better than her ass. Okay, it's just like fucking so much better than her. Because Clarissa Shields was trying to use her brute force against a guy. You don't do that shit. If the man's physically stronger than you, like, look, which was Regis Prograis did? Josh Taylor's physically stronger than him. He gotta have some fucking defense, motherfucker. You gotta have some fucking defense. And her defense was mostly her jab. Lucilia Riker, she's like a Christina Hammer person. Fucking Clarissa Shields, she dips and she fucking bobs and weaves and she fucking slides back and shit. She said her favorite fighters or the fighters she watched was Andre fucking Ward, Floyd fucking Mayweather. Shit. She was watching man fighters. She wasn't watching women fighters. Man, y'all ain't even understanding this shit. Look, man, Clarissa Shields, she's the real deal, man. She do a lot of things, man, in there. Anyways, she ain't as good as what's her name? Hannah Gabriels, though. She ain't as good as Hannah Gabriels. Amanda Serrano has accomplished more, but I think Clarissa Shields is actually a better fighter than Amanda Serrano, even though Clarissa Shields never really displayed all her skills. She can do quite a lot of things, and we saw a little bit of it against Hannah Gabriels and so on. But no, Clarissa Shields can fight, man. She can fight. She can fight, and she mostly spars guys. That's what she do. You know, and I just recently heard that, what's her name? Shakur Stevens' girlfriend, she used to spar a lot of guys too. And his father used to say, "Don't take it easy on her." So I mean, I don't know about y'all, but y'all tripping, man. Y'all tripping with this male female shit. Like I said, I'm still following up on this Clarissa Shields versus Terrence Crawford shit. You're gonna see me. You're gonna see me talking about that shit because listen, you gotta understand. Andre Ward, Terrence Crawford, Clarissa Shields, Andre Berto. They all in the same fucking camp. You understand? They on the same team. You know what I'm saying? All of these guys be rolling together. You know. And why I'm saying this is not just not to knock on nobody, but you know, I would love Clarissa Shields to spot Terrence as well. Get some good work with a southpaw lefty. They gonna put it in. Shit, y'all tripping, man. Y'all tripping. Like I said before, I don't see Clarissa Shields getting knocked out by Terrence Crawford. Fuck no. This is boxing. This ain't no fucking kickboxing. You know. And Clarissa Shields wouldn't box Terrence Crawford like how she would box one of the women boxers. She wouldn't do that shit. It'd be more tactical. It's just common sense, man. Come on, man. David Price proved why he belongs in the ring with Wilder. Bomb Squad! You clowning right now. You know that's the future franchise champion, right? Hey, I got to talk on this franchise champion stuff, man. You know, Paulie Malignaggi, my dude. And fucking, well, almost everybody don't think that this franchise championship thing is shit. But I was listening to Terrence Crawford. I was listening to Paulie Malignaggi, especially, my dude, what he was saying. And I think it was who's the other guy? Danny Garcia, and everybody just doesn't see. They can't understand the shit. I'm tell you, I like what Paulie said. I got some things to say about that, but we're gonna get into that in a minute. Intangible Boxing. Don't forget to smash the like button, people. Don't forget you can also, please do donate to my channel via Western Union or MoneyGram. We're gonna keep it popping. Some of you guys do donate to my channel. I haven't got a donation in months though. So when you guys could do that, that'd be nice. I know some of you want to donate to my channel, but you can't. I understand. All right. Intangible Boxing says, I rewatched the fight and saw it the same. Could have been a draw at most, in my opinion. Okay. Intangible Boxing said, there are no great all-round inside fighters in this era. What do you mean by all-round inside fighters, though? There are all kinds of inside fighters, by the way. I know I never said that to people, but you got different kinds of inside fighters. There are different styles of inside fighting. Josh Taylor's a very good inside fighter. Don't get it twisted. I just think that Regis Prograis was the more effective inside fighter in this fight. And Regis Prograis needed some space to really put off his punches, which is why you see him kind of push. He stiff-armed Josh Taylor. He stiff-armed him. And then after he stiff-armed him with the left hand and he found that space, then he would throw his 1-2s. He'd throw his boom, boom. He's throwing a lot of 1-2s to the body. Something sidestep him and throw the 1-2. They're trying to get position. But Josh Taylor, he could rough him up. He could push Regis back because he's physically stronger. So that's how you get Regis out of position. Besides Ennis, okay. Regis Prograis can crack. Duh. He definitely can. Intangible Boxing says, what second in the first round does Regis KO Clarissa Shields? What second in the first round? What are you talking about, man? Dude, like I said before, dude, y'all, listen, Andrew Ward was talking about this shit. How are you going to knock out somebody, okay? You got to try and knock out somebody who got defense. How are you going to knock him out? Josh Taylor said he was going to stop Regis. Did he stop Regis? Did he stop Regis? Regis is a smaller dude. He's smaller than him. He's shorter than him. He's less long than him. He ain't stopped shit, right? In fact, his face looked like he went through the meat grinder on his on his left thigh, right? And what happened to Regis' face? Anything? Anything happened to Regis' face? No, not one damn thing. He had a little bumpy lip here. Oh, here, is it here? I think here. He had a little bumpy lip here. Let me see. Yeah, this is in reverse. Okay. He had a little bumpy lip here. Okay. and he has little marks on top of his head here, right? And he had a bloody nose that was trickling. That's it, right? Josh Taylor got this big golf ball on, I believe it is this eye. I know this is in mirror image right now. Over this eye, I think it was, right? It was over his left eye. And that's from the fucking overhand left that Regis be hitting his head with. Right? His eyes closed down today. He be talking to the people afterwards, wake up this morning, and he got a closed eye. He can't see shit. Yeah, he's a boxer. Boxers have black eyes like that, but I'm just saying, Regis gave him a black eye. Y'all say it was from a headbutt. I don't think it was from a headbutt. That ain't from no fucking headbutt. That's from a punch. Oh, yeah. I don't know how you score the fight, so we're going to score it together. And then you can always leave your comments in the chat section in between rounds. But we're going to score this fight. We're going to score this fight. Because I don't understand how people sometimes... I just don't understand how people could say, oh, this round went either way. It wasn't close. Some rounds was just not close. There was a lot of activity, but it wasn't close. Josh Taylor was missing like crazy in that fight. Missing like crazy. Regis be the sharpshooter in that fucking fight. I don't know how y'all, man, how y'all even rate this shit, but it is what it is. We're going to go through it. We'll see. All right, man. So, all right, I'm going to end this thing, but I was saying something about something. I got sidetracked. Yeah, so Andre Ward, let's talk a little bit about the WBC, because I got to talk about this fucking franchise champion bullshit. So Paulie pretty much bring closure to this shit. He said sanctioning bodies used to enforce mandatories. Ain't the job of the sanctioning body to make sure that the mandatory gets to face the champion? The WBC be doing the fucking opposite, and the WBA, right? And Terrence Crawford even spoke to it. He was like, man, I ain't facing I'm facing the real champion. They only one fucking champion in the division. There's no silver champion. There's no interim champion. They only one champion in the division. No franchise champion. None of that bullshit. Terrence Crawford was right. He's like, look, man, Paulie Malignaggi said they supposed to be enforcing mandatories. That's what they fucking are. The sanctioning body's supposed to enforce their mandatories. That's what they're supposed to do. He Unless you're unifying, right? He said, look at this shit. Didn't the IBF enforce the mandatories when Canelo he was supposed to face his mandatory, but instead, what happened? He wanted to have some other fight, right? If they don't do it within a certain window of time, he could have unified with Demetrius Sandra and he'd have all the belts. He'd have all the motherfucking belts, okay? He did not unify with Demetrius Sandra. The WBC has actually created an opportunity for the champion to duck a fighter. That's what they actually did. They did the opposite of what they're supposed to do as a sanctioning body by making this fucking franchise champion. And then Paulie said something else that was really funny, but it's true. Fucking franchise champion. The franchise fucking champion could unify, but the other motherfuckers can't unify unless they face somebody else. That's bullshit. I call bullshit on that shit. And a lot of people calling bullshit on it. And the other thing about it is, now you got a fucking WBC champion that ain't no fucking champion. Like I said before, he's a paper champion. On paper, he's a champion. But how you be a champion and you face the champion? And there is a champion in your division. And the champion's active. That's bullshit. And the WBA and the WBC been doing this shit. And they need to be called out on their shit. It's shit. Okay? And Adrian Broner and Gervonta Davis, they heard this shit and they were like, what the fuck? Then that means if I come out of retirement, I could be franchise champion. Adrian Broner started clowning that shit. And he said, boxing is full of shit right now. And it's the same thing Paulie Malignaggi said. And quite frankly, Paulie Malignaggi is 100% correct on that. And then he delved into the major issue with a lot of fighters dying this year. He says because of PE fucking D use. It's the fucking PEDs. He says everybody get brain scan and CAT scan before they enter fights. They all get MRIs before they enter fights. So stop with the bullshit about the medical. Stop with the bullshit about the size of gloves. He said that's bullshit. He said they tippy-toeing around the issue. They don't want to face the issue that is motherfucking PEDs. If you take away the fucking PEDs from the sport, the fighters will not be able to go longer rounds. They will not be as strong. They won't hit as hard. And that is the reason why this motherfucking fights ended in deaths. And that makes sense. And then he said, they talking about how, oh, they need to get more same-day weigh-ins. He said, that's bullshit. He said, that'll be bullshit. And he said also that Patrick Day, he was a nutritionist. So it's bullshit about, oh, they too big and shit like that. This been going on forever. He said, even when they had same day weigh-ins, guys come in bigger than they really was. They weigh in the same day and then they blow up a couple hours later. He said, if anything, it's because they dehydrated from having losing so much fucking weight because of these specifications by the sanctioning bodies that you don't come back in 10 pounds overweight or 12 pounds overweight, whatever the fuck. That it make them even more vulnerable to damage. So Paulie basically called out the bullshit that's happening in boxing. And I'm glad there's a boxer and the guy who knows better, who's never used PEDs. This is the guy calling out bullshit on boxing. And these fucking sanctioning bodies, and even VADA, VADA's, they've been calling out people on bullshit, when they use PED use. They need to come down harder on PED use, and they need to get a better detection rate for PED use. And these motherfuckers who are going into fights with either injuries or whatever, and they still have PED use, these motherfuckers need to be banned from boxing. That's the bullshit that be going down. And I just wanted to talk about that because when I heard what Paulie said, I said, it makes sense. They fighting longer. They fighting harder. They're not going down. They will take more damage, right? And they're talking about smaller gloves to knock them out. Bullshit. Bullshit. Bigger, stronger, faster. PDs. Call it for what it is. Bigger, stronger, faster. And my boy Tommy Temple was talking about this shit and how people are not being detected by PEDs. Makes fucking sense. Okay? And Paulie called it. I think Paulie called it. That's the bullshit that's being covered up in boxing. And people are dying because of that shit. So, I actually believe that shit. I actually believe that shit. As to what Paulie's saying, the elephant in the room, they need to clamp down on that shit. They do need to clamp down on that shit. Right? And he talked about not just Daddy Chef, he talked also about the Puerto Rican boy, forgot what his name is, who I think he's still he's not in a coma anymore. I think he's out of the coma. But hopefully he rehabilitates as well. That's the bullshit be happening in boxing. That's the truth. That's what you guys be saying. Josh Taylor is the best UK fighter. You think so? I don't know. Just because he won his fight? I wouldn't say that. Great defensive and offensive infighters like James Toney or Mayweather. Mayweather wasn't that great at infighting. He was all right. James Toney was a great infighter. Mike McCallum was a great infighter. Mayweather could do it all, but he wasn't a great defensive infighter. He wasn't great at it. He was good at it. There's a difference. Andrew was good at infighting. Canelo is a great infighter. There's a difference. Trust me. That's his preferred range. Canelo likes to fight on the inside. Mid-range to inside. James Toney loved to fight on the inside. Mid-range to inside. Mike McCallum, inside. Mid-range to inside. Errol Spence, inside. Mid-range to inside. They're inside fighters. That's what they do. Right? Marcus McDonald's not great at it, but he's an inside fighter, right? Roberto Duran was an inside fighter. Okay. And they were good. Diego Krause, inside fighter. Jose Luis Castillo, inside fighter. You know what I'm saying? Those are inside fighters. This is a specialty. That's what they specialize in. Floyd was all-around fighter. He could hang with you on the inside. He could hang with you on the outside. He's not necessarily great at the inside game. He was fantastic at mid-range and outside. That was his forte mostly. Inside fighting, he was all right. He could hang with you. You know, we ain't gonna dominate, but he can hang with you. You know what I'm saying? If you was a great inside fighter, he'd take away your inside game. So you don't, you know, if you're a great mid-range fighter like Manny Pacquiao, he'd take away the mid-range game. You know, when he weaken you up enough, then he go in the mid range and do his thing. But he ain't doing nothing. He ain't doing shit to you until he take away, you know, your strength, your power, wear you down mentally and physically, and then he will come in when you slow down and he'll do his thing. You know, that's how these fighters do. Andre Ward, if he had to fight you on the inside, he would go for it. But you know, as to say he outwill and outskill you on the inside. If that's your fucking forte, he not gonna just roll up in there and try and engage you and show I'm better than you. No, he'll weaken you first. So what these smart fighters do, they box smart. So Ward knew how to use the jab. He would use his jab, come with hooks off the jab. If you were an inside fighter, he'd catch you coming in, you know, he'd step around you. He would use the pivot work and pivot at different angles and counterpunch you on the outside. Once he wore you down, okay, now he gonna come on the inside and do to you what you thought you was gonna do to him. You know, that's the way how that go. You know, Reggie Prograis, the one thing he should have done, which he didn't do enough of, was he should have kept Josh Taylor at the end of his stick. Now I know Josh Taylor was the longer guy, but I do think Reggie Prograis was actually the most successful, where he wasn't getting tagged, was where he was at mid-range. And one of the things Timothy Bradley and even Dante's Boxing Nations critiqued Reggie Prograis for is he stayed in the fucking pocket when he didn't need to. And he got hit when he didn't need to and made the fight a little closer than it's supposed to have been. He should have dictated. He should have moved from the inside to the outside when he straightened out. But he was so determined to just, you know, push back Josh Taylor and show that, you know, you ain't doing me shit. He should have boxed him a little bit on the outside too. And he could have done it, you know, kind of like a la Canelo boxing Gennady Golovkin in the first fight. He should have boxed him a little bit on the outside and then come back on the inside, wear him down on the outside, keep on pot shotting him on the outside, wear him down on the outside, and come back on the inside again and work with him. Get the body, steal the body shots, steal shots to the body, and then get back out of there. You know, if you're going to be on the inside, you got to step around Josh Taylor. I know he physically could hold you in position so that you can't step around him. But in the later rounds, he was stepping around him, right? Because he wore him down. And that's the thing. He should have, you know, that's the only thing I think I had against Reggie Prograis. Sometimes he takes shots that he shouldn't have taken. And I know he's tough and all of that, but he should not have taken certain shots. I critique him on that. He made the fight closer than it needed to be. You know, and somebody's looking at the fight and they don't really understand that Prograis be landing all those body shots. They would think that Taylor's winning because they're watching the headshots. That Taylor be landing on them, the short chopping headshots. So that was on Prograis. He could have easily not taken those shots to the head, but I guess he was trying to show Taylor, you ain't doing shit to me. I'm gonna still come. You know, I'm gonna keep coming. But he didn't need to do that. You know. And yes, you do when you're fighting on the inside. You do take shots. Okay. And to me, he got the better of most exchanges, except, like I said before, definitely didn't get the better of the exchanges in the 6th round, the 7th round, the 8th round. He got the better of the exchanges. It was a quiet round anyway. He was mostly doing the work. He ended up with the last shot, I think. 9th and the 10th, I thought that, again, Taylor was in there because he kept on getting, it was like blow for blow, shot for shot, which should never have been. It was like Rock'em Sock'em Robots with much more skill. And it shouldn't have been. You know, do not just impose your will on a guy. You got to fight smart. So he fought, but he still prevailed over Taylor in the 11th and the 12th because, you know, he was landing that body work. He laid that foundation. He never left the body work, you know. And that's what made him eventually, I thought, win the fight. But it is what it is. Intangible Boxing says Josh Taylor was missing, but his activity allowed him to land as well. Yeah, but to me, in my opinion, he was sometimish with that. He wasn't consistent. Trust me, if Josh Taylor was landing the body work that he did, he would have done to Reggie Prograis what he did to his former opponent. his most recent the opponent before Regis Prograis. He would have knocked him down. He never got the opportunity. He never stunned Regis Prograis. He pushed him back, but he never stunned him. He was able to push his weight on him, but he never stunned him. You understand what I'm saying? And the reason why that happened is because he's not really landing that much shots. Prograis be blocking a lot of his shots. Now, he did give Prograis a bloody nose. I think it was I'm trying to remember which round it was, where he hit him flush with the left, with the straight left to his nose, and that's when he started bloodying his nose. But like Prograis would go back to his corner, and his corner wasn't panicking or nothing. Like you could see that the corner was giving him instructions as to what he needed to do to make an adjustment. And don't get me wrong, Taylor did make some adjustments in the fight when he was in the first couple of rounds. Prograis was having an easy fight. He was just tagging him up. And then Josh Taylor started counter punching him, and then he realized he needed to circle out, box a lot more. So he would box on the outside, let Prograis come to the inside, and once he got on the inside, Taylor could box on the inside. He could fight on the inside. So he would use that. His major weapon was fighting on the inside against Prograis, because there he could use his physical strength, he could use his physical body, and he could move around Prograis where he wanted to move him around, and that's how he got the shots off. He wasn't really getting the shots off otherwise. There was times when he threw a couple combinations when Prograis was off balance. He was able to keep him off balance and keep on throwing his combinations. Some land, some miss, right? So what I'm saying is, yeah, he was more active, but the fight was not his fight. He was reacting mostly to what Prograis was doing. The fight was lost by Prograis, if anything, because he could have made this fight a lot more clearer than he had it. He didn't have to stay in the pocket so long. Because this thing, Prograis, everybody know Josh Taylor was known for infighting. Prograis was the guy, yeah, he's an infighter too, and you saw it in many fights, right? But Prograis is the guy who, in my opinion, does the best when he's actually got some distance on you. Even if it's mid-range, he got to get a little clearance to land his punches. And then he would fall in, and the other guy would clinch him up usually. But in this case, Taylor would clinch him up, but then he would forearm him off and punch him. You wouldn't be in the clinch for very long. It's only in the later rounds he was really clinching him up. He's like clinching him up and locking him up, and Prograis couldn't come out of the clinch because he's not as strong as he wasn't as strong as Taylor. So Taylor uses, which is a sensible thing, use your physical strength to your advantage to make people think that you still dominate him because you're pushing the guy around. That's what he did. He was pushing Prograis around when Prograis, once he got the lower ground, he pushed him around. But really and truly, he wasn't the one winning the fight. It was Prograis. Okay? But then again, it is what it is, But he did even up the middle rounds to some degree. He really came back in the 6 and 7, in my opinion. Thoughts on Boxing Eagle, who last night after Prograis Taylor decided to make a video hating on DAZN to pump up Deontay Wilder. What the fuck? Man, DAZN be giving really great fights. I think, in my opinion, DAZN be the best service right now for boxing. Don't count out the other services, ESPN and PBC. Don't count them out. Please don't do that. But DAZN be the number one right now in terms of boxing, man. That content is incredible. And they got more incredible content to come. And some really good matchups. So you're saying Boxing Eagle didn't even talk about the fight? That's sad. You know why? Because Prograis lost. So he don't want to talk about it. But in my opinion, if he lost, he lost. That's official. Everything else we say is just don't matter. But I'm going to show y'all still why I think that Regis Prograis won that fight 8-4. I noticed I said 8-4. Everybody else was saying 7-5. I said 8-4. I still hold my opinion. I haven't scored a fight since then, but it don't matter. I know what I saw. I got no problems with the LDVC, but there are some guys that I really don't like. Some I do like. Yeah, some of them, man, they twist the reality. They twist the truth to fit some side of fucking narrative, man. I don't like that. I really honestly don't like that. I prefer people be honest and stop playing political games. You know what I'm saying? And Boxing Ego, man, he got some good content at times, but other times, man, he just be so. It's kind of like Dante's Boxing Nation. Sometimes they just be so pro black. Like I heard somebody on the Boxing Voice talking about they need to forget all them motherfucking belts like the WBC and so on, and black people need to have their own colored belt. I'm like, what the fuck? That sounded so stupid. But hey, it is what it is. You know, I think that this franchise champion thing is bullshit. It's bullshit. They got guys ducking fighters. You know what I'm saying? They got guys ducking fighters, and they don't have to be black. But now a guy can just duck a fighter by being a franchise champion or super champion. The super championship is bullshit too. Okay, I can understand even if you're an accomplished fighter like and you're at the end of your era, and you don't want to face no young strong fighter. Just say that. Say that these guys are young, they're strong. I'm not really trying to mess with them. I'm just trying to mess with fighters in my era. Lots of fighters say that, right? Um, but like creating a way out for these fighters so they don't have to face the dudes. To me, it's so blatant. And the kids we talking about, they still in their prime. Lomachenko's still in his prime. Canelo's still in his prime. So what the fuck are you doing giving them franchise belts? What the hell? We need a franchise champion. We don't need that shit. And Suleiman can't defend that shit, and his board can't defend that shit. And I find it's just bullshit. They supposed to be enforcing mandatories, if anything. And I can understand if there's a unification fight, like Lomachenko's going to unify. So obviously the rule is if you're going to unify, the mandatory is not precedent unless you have a certain amount of time to indicate that you want to unify and make the deal happen. If the time elapsed, just like what the IBF do, if the time elapsed, then that's on you. You fucked up. You know what I'm saying? And obviously Canelo didn't want to unify with Demetrius Andrade, so he fucked up on that. And so therefore he was stripped of the IBF. IBF did the right thing. I am not mad at the IBF. Golden Boy dropped the ball in that shit. And the IBF, at least they enforced their mandatories. If you don't like the fucking mandatory, then get some other better fight. You know what I'm saying? Intangible Boxing says I like 78 and Black Fight Fan and BFTB. I don't like Boxing Ego, Fanon, etc. I listen to Boxing Ego and Fanon. Sometimes they say some things that are true, But if my thing is that sometimes they be talking shit, Boxing Ego. I don't know what's his issue with Canelo. I guess he thinks that Canelo's white or something. I don't know, man. People are conveniently white when they need to be, and then they some other color when they need to be. You know what I'm saying, with these people. But at the end of the day, Boxing Ego, there's some things that he do that's good. I mean, he introduced me to Troy King. Troy King is about boxing. He ain't about no fucking white and black and all that shit. I'm not saying that he don't acknowledge that there's racism in the boxing, but he just said he not in that shit. Sometimes I like what Nessa do with the Boxing Voice. You know what I'm saying? I fuck with him. For non-boxing, sometimes I listen to him. Sometimes he say some things that make sense. And other times he just way off base. I'll be honest on what planet you on, motherfucker. But at the end of the day, my point is this. And it's always going to be. In boxing, it's about who you face and who you beat. So you can't be no fucking champion and you ain't beat the champion unless that champion vacated his title. If the motherfucker vacated his title, there's nothing you can do about that. And people sometimes even call you a paper champion still when you vacate the title because they say, well, look who you facing. You ain't facing nobody. Like, for instance, Shakur Stevens, right? He faced Joey Gonzalez. Who the fuck is Joey Gonzalez? We know who Shakur Stevens is, but who the fuck is Joey Gonzalez? I'm just saying. I don't know about y'all, but I'm just saying. All right, so he wins the WBO title, the least prestigious title, but hey, he win it, okay? He outclasses Joey Gonzalez. But my question is, who the fuck was Joey Gonzalez to start with? We know who Shakur Stevenson is. We don't know who the fuck Joey Gonzalez is. He's a tough Mexican fighter. Okay, and that means what? Well, Shakur had his girl, his sister is his girlfriend, and he had a tiff. And that's what you got to build on? Because that's why people didn't watch these fucking fights. Because what does it mean? It means nothing to nobody. However, Wilfredo Benitez versus Sugar Ray Leonard. Gennaro Hernandez versus Floyd Mayweather. Motherfucking Shane Mosley versus Oscar De La Hoya. You get what I'm saying? These are fucking great fights. Okay? People will pay to see them because we know who these people are. What the WBC and the WBA take from us is seeing these sort of legendary fucking fights. Wanted to see the up-and-comer Devin Haney, who's a mandatory, face Lomachenko. Or the other guy, the WBA #1 guy, who is Gervonta Davis, who's going to fight for the interim championship against fucking, what's his name? Yuriorkis Gamboa, okay? Gamboa used to be a name. He's still winning. He just knocked out Rocky Martinez. I mean, everybody knocks out more Rocky Martinez. But Lomachenko did too, right? Okay, then. That's super feather. Anyway, he just knocked out Rocky Martinez, okay? Was a great multiple super featherweight champion, whatever. He knocked him out. He got stopped sometime, I can't remember, 2 years ago, whatever. He was out of boxing for a while. Came back. Has been doing well. He's not the same Gamboa, obviously, but, he's still been doing well. Okay, so Gervonta is going to face him. That's a much better fight than Shakur Stevenson versus Joet Gonzalez, even though Joet Gonzalez was undefeated. Let me tell you why. The reason it's a better fight is because fucking Yuriorkis Gamboa is not done. People saying he's done. He's not done. Gamboa has a reputation. He only has 2 losses on his record. Or is it 3? I think it's 3. I think he got stopped twice. But at the end of the day, or is it 2? I think it's 2 losses. I can always look. God damn it. Yuriorkis Gamboa, okay? It obviously is a better because he has accomplished so much more. He's like a Sergey Kovalev kind of like. He has never won the lightweight championship of the world though, so he's not really like Sergey Kovalev at all. But my point is, this guy's faced much better competition. He's very experienced. He's a veteran of the sport, and Gervonta will be facing him. That's at least a name. It's kind of like Canelo versus Shane Mosley. Okay, it's a step-up fight because then the next fight could be Lomachenko. Now here's the thing. He would have been the interim champion. I guess he'd be upgraded to regular champion now. They would be fighting for the regular championship because I guess Lomachenko's the super champion. But the point is, at the end of the day, Lomachenko don't have to face him. That's what they've done. These 2 fucking sanctioning bodies, WBA and WBC, I said, Lomachenko don't have to face those guys. He did enough in the sport of boxing. He don't have to face them. And like my boy Adrian Broner said, that's favoritism. Basically, it's favoritism. That's what you just did. Instead of having people conduct their mandatories like it's supposed to be, now you got favoritism, and you call it under the banner of branding. And I gotta be real with you guys. That's exactly what's going on, and it's bullshit. Okay. And I remember now that I look back at Mayweather versus, like y'all talk about Mayweather versus Keith Thurman, and where Mayweather could choose Andre Berto. And here's the funny part about it. It's like a slap in the face. That was Keith Thurman's mandatory, Andre Berto. He wouldn't face Keith Thurman, but he gonna face Berto. You know what I'm saying? He would face Keith Thurman's fucking mandatory. That was bullshit, though. I'm gonna call it what it is. It's bullshit. Now I look back at it. It's bullshit. So you gonna take Keith Thurman's mandatory from him, but you won't face Keith Thurman. And that's why everybody say, yeah, Mayweather ducked Keith Thurman. Because he had the opportunity to face Keith Thurman, but the fucking WBA made him super champion. Right? He was super champion before he faced Manny Pacquiao. Okay? And so, therefore, he didn't have to face Keith Thurman. Now, he was at the end of his career, yeah. But still, at the end of the day, either forfeit the fucking belt, okay, vacate the fucking belt, or face Keith Thurman. I remember Keith Thurman said, this motherfucker be holding up the whole division. Just vacate the fucking belts. Get the fuck out of the sport, because you're holding up the sport now. You ain't gonna face none of these new kids. So just get the fuck out of the sport. I understand why they was kind of angry with him. Because this motherfucker, again, at the end of the day, this motherfucker got favor and he never defended his super championship. Oh, he defended his super champion. Sorry, my bad. He had the opportunity as a super champion to face Keith Thurman. He did. Okay? He had the opportunity. right? Which was his fucking mandatory. That was his mandatory. It was Marcus Maidana's mandatory, and he inherited the mandatory from Marcus Maidana. And think about it this way. He faced Marcus Maidana, I think it was in 2014, right? Beat Marcus Maidana, rematched Marcus Maidana. All of that's fair game. You rematched Marcus Maidana because they thought, it was a close fight, whatever, competitive, whatever. But then after that, okay, you face Manny Pacquiao. I'm cool with that. They make you super champion, whatever. But then now, to show that you was about to deal with what you had to deal with, you inherited this mandatory in 2014 from Marcus Maidana. The real thing to do at the end of 2015 was face Keith Thurman. Yes, Keith Thurman got hit with a fucking body shot by Luis Collazo that year. And it was like, Keith Thurman ain't ready for Floyd. But that was not the point. He was your mandatory. Now watch what you're going to do. You're going to take Keith Thurman's mandatory, which is Andre Berto. But I mean, Keith Thurman wasn't going to face Andre Berto because he said it's his brother and all that shit. But nonetheless, he was his mandatory. You took his mandatory, but you can't face him. Think about that shit. That's why people say that he ducked Keith Thurman. He ducked fucking Keith Thurman. And the WBA allowed him to duck Keith Thurman. And this is what these sanctioning bodies be doing. They're not enforcing. Now, let's say there was no super champion. Okay? Let's say there was no franchise champion. Right? Because these motherfuckers doing the same shit. Right? If you're not a super champion, you're a champion. Because you're the real champion. The super champion's the real fucking champion. The franchise champion's the real fucking champion. The other two people are not the real champion. Why? Because you got the super champion there and you got the franchise champion there. Once they're around, if they leave, if they vacate, now you can have a new champion. Other than that, you can't have a fucking new champion. You can't have two champions in the same fucking sanctioning body. It can't happen. There's only one motherfucking champion. And what that motherfucking champion was supposed to do was solidify himself. Right? Can't have the fucking Keith Thurman just move up and become a regular champion. What the fuck is that? Without facing Floyd Mayweather? And Keith Thurman constantly said, I want Floyd Mayweather, right? He's calling out Floyd. And he was saying, his punk ass was ducking me. He was right. Now, was he right when Floyd faced Pacquiao? No, because unifications come before mandatories. So no, he wasn't right there. He wasn't right when Floyd rematched Marcus Maidana. Okay? It is what it is. Marcus Maidana was the WBA champion. He deserved a rematch. Got his rematch. Right. Fine. But at the end of the day, he wasn't, like I said, Andre Berto was a cherry pick. It was a fucking cherry pick. He could have faced Kell Brook ununified. If he'd faced Kell Brook ununified with the IBF and become undisputed, think about this. Yeah, you did. If you had faced Kell Brook, then yeah, you could have said, okay, but Keith Thurman, he was going to be my mandatory. He wasn't mandatory right at the point because of fucking WBA and that super champion bullshit. But you could have made an excuse. He faced fucking Andre Berto. He faced Andre Berto, who was Keith Thurman's mandatory. How you gonna do that? Let's be real. And this shit be fucking up boxing. They fucking up boxing right now. This could have been a simple situation. The motherfucker is a mandatory. You want to go unify. You unify. Okay? You're going to have two fucking mandatories to deal with after that. You're going to have the WBA interim champion, who may be Gervonta Davis, or it may be, what's this motherfucker's name? Yuriorkis Gamboa. Okay? Either way, both names are names in boxing. Okay? Whoever wins that. The winner of Teofimo Lopez and Richard Comey, you're going to unify. So that's a unification. They take precedence over mandatories. You go, you unify. You come back. You either pick Gervonta Davis of the WBA or Yuriorkis Gamboa, whoever wins that fight. And you pick Devin Haney. And Devin Haney going to be facing the Dominican Republic dude who was the other guy lined up to become mandatory, right? He going to face that dude. Let's say Devin Haney wins that fight. Then you have two mandatories. You would have Devin Haney and you would have motherfucking Gervonta Davis to pick from. And guess what? Now, you could pick Gervonta Davis. You know what I'm saying? Once you pick one of the mandatories, they can't say nothing. They're going to decide to wait. Right? So I'm just saying, Lomachenko, some statement they say that Lomachenko say he gonna stay at lightweight, right? And he gonna fight at lightweight. I think he's gonna try and get the Gervonta Davis fight, which makes sense to me. If I was him, I would try and get the Gervonta Davis fight. Like Paulie said, business is business. You gotta keep connections. So as whack as this shit is, it's up to really Lomachenko to now say, you know what, I'm gonna face my fucking mandatory in what I think is a mandatory. This Devin Haney kid, I'm gonna stay at lightweight and make sure I cement my fucking name. So here's what's gonna go down. They try to give me a pass by calling me franchise champion. They try to give me a pass by calling me super champion. I'm gonna face fucking Gervonta Davis. I'm gonna face Devin Haney after I unify. That's the real thing. You know, that's the real Moxie. That's a real man. And win, lose, or draw, I'm gonna have mad respect for Lomachenko because he's been stepping up all the time. He's been having the tough fights all the time, right? So I want to see if he will say fuck the WBC, not fuck the WBC, but he can't say that because he be like, man, I thank you for this honor with the franchise championship, but I'm gonna face fucking Devin Haney. I'm gonna face fucking Gervonta Davis. I like to see that out of him. I like to see if he would do that, and I'm gonna give him props anyway, win, lose, or draw. You know what I'm saying? Because what that means is Lomachenko, because I think he's gonna become undisputed. Okay, I think Richard Comey. I'll be honest with you. Richard Comey is no Devin Haney and no Gervonta Davis in my opinion. Do I like Teofimo Lopez? I like him, but he talked too damn much. He can't really back his shit up. He gonna come in there and he gonna try and do something with Richard Comey, and I wouldn't be surprised if Richard Comey beat his ass. Okay, but we're gonna see what happened with Teofimo. I think Teofimo has a lot of promise. I just think he needs to shut his ass up a lot. He talked a little too damn much and can't back his shit up. All right, that's the truth. I mean, he talked, but then he couldn't back his shit up. You know what I'm saying? Regis Prograis, he said, I'm gonna show y'all what this fight is not a 50-50 fight. And he went out there and he did not prove that. Okay? Sometimes people talk, they may believe what they're saying, but they really don't know what they're saying. So I'm just saying. But I like Regis Prograis. I like Teofimo Lopez. I like both of them. They talk well, but not necessarily they backing up their shit. All right? Because officially he lost that fight. See what you got saying here. Ooh, you guys be talking like mad up in here. Troy Swords. Shout out to Troy Swords. A lot of them twist reality. That IBFP dude acts like he's on Canelo's. Can't tell you what he said. The fuck is this? I just lost what I was saying there. Hold on a second. Like that IBFP dude acts like he's on Canelo and Fishnet's payroll. Shaking my damn head. IBFP dude. Who's the IBFP dude? I'm not too sure what that is. Intangible Boxing says, if there's franchise champions, why even make Haney or Charlo a mando? You know what I'm saying? The sanctioning body's supposed to make mandatories, right? They're supposed to enforce the fucking mandatories, not try to escape their mandatories. Help the other boxers. I don't know what the fuck's going on, man. IBFP is the biggest Canelo dick rider on the site. He laughs. I don't even know who IBFP is. Who's IBFP? I like IBFP, though. I ain't got no beef. Troy Soul says, being pro-black doesn't mean hating anybody or any fighter. We can't ignore the fact that there's blatant racism in boxing regarding some black fighters. Facts. Yeah, we know that. We saw what happened with Andre Ward. We saw what happened with Floyd. We saw what happening right now with Terrence Crawford. You know what I'm saying? How they promoting him, how they moving him. We saw what happened with Shakur Stevenson and the family, the Mexican family. We see the shit. Tangible Boxing at Troy Swords. #facts. Tangible Boxing says, Broner's a clown, but at least he speaks his mind, low. Yeah, but he talking the truth right there. Troy Swords, Intangible Boxing. Do you want to see Canelo fight Andrade? That's the #1 fight I want to see. Hell yeah, brother. Hell to the yeah. But I don't mind seeing Andrade versus Billy Joe Saunders or Andrade versus Charlo. Or I'm not really hot up on Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. versus what's his name? What's the kid's name? What's the guy's name? Danny Jacobs. I'm not really hot up on that shit, to be honest with you, but it's cool. I prefer to see Danny Jacobs face Chris Eubank Jr. but Chris Eubank Jr. is fighting Korobov, so that's a good fight too. You know, Tangible Boxing said, yeah, he should have fought Andre. And that's what I'm saying. I don't know why you go. You will go up 2 divisions face Kovalev, right? And another thing that Andre Ward said about Kovalev, he said that he's no longer the crusher, and I think even Andre Berto spoke to that, where he said that he basically said that after Andre mentally crushed the crusher, he didn't have the confidence he used to have and the vulnerabilities. Now he's not the same, so he's like Sergey Kovalev now, which is true. Canelo's facing that kind of dude, and Kovalev said he was like one punch away from retiring. So, yeah, his foot is not out the door yet, but I get what Andrew Ward is saying. But at the same time, I think you're going to see the best Sergey Kovalev, and I think the crusher's going to come back because Canelo's a smaller guy. Troy Source says it's looking like we might not even see them fight, and that would be a disgrace. Yeah, it looked like they're trying to fucking duck Andre. I hate to be saying it like that, but it really looked like Canelo gonna duck Andre. Like you gonna stay at either 175 or 168. It don't look like he coming back down to 160 anytime soon. So Andre gonna have to go hunting him down, and Jamal Charlo as well. It's some bullshit though. It's some bullshit. It's like this motherfucker decided I'm gonna get as far away from them motherfuckers as possible. So he jump up 2 divisions. It's kind of like some people say Mikey Garcia trying to get so far away from Lomachenko. He jump up 2 divisions as well. Get his ass beat. He didn't mind getting his ass beat 2 divisions up instead of facing the guy in his division. Intangible Boxing says, rambling about Floyd again. You're always talking about Floyd. What did I say about Floyd? I can't remember. Yeah, I talk about Floyd all the time, bro. Man, the man is one of the best boxers ever. So you're going to hear me talk about Floyd. You're going to hear me talk about Andre Ward a lot. They say I'm a Floyd Andre Ward dick rider, but they one of the best. They some of the best boxers out there. So I will be speaking about them a lot. You will hear me speaking about Floyd. You will hear me speaking about Ward. You will hear me speaking about Whitaker. But I speak a lot about Floyd, yeah. He's the best boxer out there. Or was. Troy. Yeah, you laughing. Props to Jacobs for taking the Chavez fight that so many others turned down. That's funny, bro. I don't know if you're being serious or if that was a joke, but it was very funny to me. Shit, man, I wanted to see Johnny Jacobs versus Billy Joe Saunders. Like the fights that I really want to see, I can't see them shit. I can understand how frustrated sometimes the boxing fans are. So like Nonito Donaire versus Naoya Inoue, that's a fucking great fight. That's next week. That's this weekend, man. That's some good shit. You know what I'm saying? Chavez Jr. hits like Ernie Schaefer's. He might hit like Ernie Schaefer's, but he ain't throwing these days. He gun shy. Caleb Plant Saunders, who wins? That's a good fucking fight, bro. I don't know. That's a good fucking fight. I favor Plant because I like him. That's it. I really can't tell you. I have to look at his styles and actually break it down. It's a good fucking fight, though. Man, you guys, there's some good ass fights out here. Like Prograis versus Taylor was a good fucking fight. Say what you want, it was a good ass fight. It was a good ass fight. I loved it. You don't get to see these kinds of fights anymore, not on a regular. I mean, Beta BF versus Vordic was a fucking good fight. It was a good fucking fight. You don't get guys doing this. They're not taking those risks anymore. A lot of these motherfuckers not doing this shit. So, it's always good. You got to give these boxers mad credit and mad love. And Vordic, I'm watching for him again because I like the dude. Who is the most overrated boxer today? You know who I think it is. Y'all gonna think I'm hating on him, but fucking Triple G is one of the most overrated boxers today. All right? He elite. He's good, but he's over fucking rated. And y'all know this. Tangible Boxing says Callum Smith. Nah. Can't say that. He's still up and coming. I mean, they have him as number one, where I don't think he's number one. I don't think he's number one. But he was number one for a period of time. I think Billy Joe Saunders is much better than Callum Smith. I think that Caleb Plant is much better than Callum Smith. David Benavidez and Callum Smith, I would like to see those two go at it, but I think them two. I think the best champions right now at 168 are Billy Joe Saunders and fucking Caleb Plant. Those are the two best right now in that division. It's just what it is. As champions, that is. I'm not saying they're the best fighters in the division. That's up for grabs. But as to best champions, them two right now. The division loaded. As to people saying Dimitri Bivol is the best light heavyweight in the division, I don't think so. I think Artur Beterbiev is right now because he's got the two belts. But, you know, I mean, until you have them face each other. And let's not forget Badou Jack. People talking about Badou Jack at the end of his road. That's fucking bullshit. He had a big, nasty cut because of Marcus Brown. And I thought he was winning that fight against Marcus Brown. Okay? With all that blood all over the place, I still thought he won the fight. He was winning the fight. I think Badou Jack versus Bivol is a good fucking matchup in which I think I have Badou Jack winning because Bivol got Badou Jack's belt. You know he was stripped, right? Because he faced Adonis Stevenson. So I think Badou Jack actually, and I thought he beat Adonis Stevenson as well. And the thing about it is, Bivol and Badou Jack are about the same size. They small guys. You know what I'm saying? And side note, Clarissa Shields wanted to spar Badou Jack. Badou Jack was like, nah. She was like, man, let's spar, man. Let's do it. He was like, nah. It's funny, man. Yeah, but Canelo, of course, is sparring much bigger guys to prepare for Kovalev. He's gonna be good. He'll be good with Kovalev. I know. People talking about, another thing I heard Andrew Ward saying is he thought that Canelo trying to put on weight and muscle mass. No, he's not trying to put on weight and muscle mass. Actually, Canelo just going to do his walk around weight. So he's basically going to fight at his walk around weight. That's all he's saying. He's not trying to put on no extra mass or nothing. He's just getting to eat properly. You know, they're thinking he's going to slow down and be sluggish. I just don't see it. But hey, whatever. Rook rocks their boat. I think Canelo's going to come in there fit. I think you're going to see the best Kovalev ever. Y'all going to see the best motherfucking Kovalev ever. Y'all, listen, man, he's going to impress. He's going to impress you guys. He's not going to be landing a lot of stuff, but he's going to impress you guys. Trust me, he's going to be sharp. He's going to be crisp. He's going to be clean. Because this motherfucker come off of a hard, tough fight. Yeah, he's going to be in shape. He's going to be in real. This is going to be the best motherfucking Kovalev y'all ever seen. He's going to be the best Kovalev you'll ever seen. The Crusher's going to be back. Andrew Ward saying the Crusher's gone. The Crusher's going to be back. Watching you will see. But it's just, you know, he going to look really good. Y'all going to be like, man, Canelo just one microsecond away from getting knocked out. Y'all going to feel that way because it's just how crisp and clean the Kovalev going to come out. And just he's going to box so on the point. And yet he's going to have that power. You're going to see that right hand. You're going to see everything. But he's still going to get stopped. And he gonna do really well. Canelo gonna look like he in trouble. It's gonna look like James Kirkland versus Canelo, where y'all thought Canelo was in trouble in the first round. He wasn't in trouble, but hey, that's what you're doing. Because Canelo, y'all gonna see Canelo on the defensive for a bit. Yeah, it gonna look really good. It's just that Canelo really ain't getting touched, but y'all gonna think so. Yeah, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. Cause look like Kovalev is asserting himself until Canelo land that first counter punch. Then y'all gonna realize, oh fuck, he's fucked. And he's gonna take some of them punches really good. He's gonna take it nice and easy. Like I said, if this fight make it to 8 rounds, I mean, great. But you gonna see the best Kovalev. You will swear the Crusher's back. The way he gonna be hitting Canelo with them shots, and Canelo be moving, the whole body gonna rock. That's how powerful Kovalev is and how smooth and how his timing and just his shots coming off really nice. His defense seems like it's on point with the jab. He gonna look really good. He gonna look good, people. Y'all gonna think he got 4 or 5 fights in him till he gets stopped. And y'all gonna think, he was done. And Canelo started putting it on him later on in the fight. Y'all gonna see. It's gonna be nasty. It's gonna be ugly. When Canelo gets going, it's gonna be ugly. But he gonna look good. He gonna look good. You all gonna say how he won this round, he won that round, and all that shit. Y'all gonna say all that shit. Y'all gonna make excuses for him. It's all good. But I called it. I told y'all what. I told you Kovalev gonna be the best Kovalev that y'all ever seen. Y'all swear to crush his back till he gets hit to the body. And Canelo will take his time. He gonna take his time. He gonna ride the storm. You know, Kovalev gonna be so powerful that some of his shots that Canelo blocked gonna knock Canelo around the ring. He gonna knock him around the ring, kind of like physically. That's how crisp and clean and sharp those shots gonna be. It'll look like Canelo's just target practice. It's gonna look like if the Crusher's back. He not back. He's not back. But it's gonna look that way. Y'all gonna be impressed though. Y'all gonna be impressed by Kovalev. He gonna come out looking good. He gonna look sweet. He gonna look good. And Canelo gonna have to ride the storm for a minute. But just keep the defense tight. Just keep the defense on point. It don't really matter. It's about defense, I gotta go to the store. But before I do, cool. Tangible Boxing says, I don't think Callum Smith beats any of the champions. I don't know. David Benavidez, he's still young. I don't know. Callum's on point with certain things. And David Benavidez, he outboxed just like Callum. So Callum's pretty sharp. I mean, I can't say, man. I can't say. I can't say. I got to see Callum against a guy like Sekio Bika or a guy, some rough and rugged guy. Now I'm going to be able to tell you. Caleb Plant got that Michigan style. Yes, sir. He's slick like a motherfucker. The way Kovalev performed against Ward will not be beat by this fight. You might be surprised how good he looks. He gonna look good early. He gonna look really good. Canelo gonna look like he's tentative or something, but it's not that. It's just Canelo going to be boxing him. He's gonna stay on the outside a little bit. I'm be watching. Kovalev is gonna look really good. He's gonna look like he's dominating the fight and shit. Trust me, ain't gonna look that way. He gonna look more in command than he did with Andrew Ward. Canelo's a smaller guy. He's smaller than Andrew Ward. Physically, his stature, everything. It's a deception, though. It's a deception. I'll be right back, guys. I need to drink some water. Salt. Yeah, man. Yes, my peoples. I'm glad you guys talking boxing though. It's good to talk boxing with you guys. I just wish I could Kovalev is still the hardest puncher at 175. No doubt. He's definitely the hardest puncher at 175. Well, at least I think so. Actually, you know what's funny? Listening to Andrew Ward talk about hardest puncher and stuff, Ward is like, I don't really deal with that shit. The same thing I was saying all the time, because what good is it to be the hardest puncher in the division, right? And The other guy is ready for you. He's ready for you. He sparred bigger guys, stronger guys. It don't really matter. Punching power only works if you have good boxing IQ, good boxing skill to get those shots in, to land those shots. And against a guy with good defense, it don't matter what kind of, there was a boxer I talked to you guys about, but in boxers not talked about. And this guy, he faced guys like Bernard Hopkins and some heavy hitters too in boxing, who was knocking out everybody. And once they meet this guy, they couldn't knock him out. He had good defense. He'll lose every single fight, but he had good defense. And this is what I guess a lot of people don't understand. You can't knock out somebody who don't want to be knocked out, who got good defense. And they just there to survive, or just there with good defense. They may not have great offense, but they got good defense. You know what I'm saying? So punching hard is a plus if you're a good boxer, but it's not something you bank on. It's like with Regis. Regis got heavy hands, right? And BWF got heavy hands. Golovkin got heavy hands. Kovalev got heavy hands, right? But you don't bank on that. Like how Deontay Wilder banks on his power. Don't bank on that shit. You box. And if the knockout come, it come. Because you're always going to face a fighter where that power don't mean shit no more. That fighter is going to box you out, right? Keith Thurman learned that lesson. Errol Spence learned that lesson. Terrence Crawford already know that shit. It's about getting the W. That's why Terrence even talking about knocking out Cavaliers, because he just said, man, I'm just here to win. I don't know, man. However I get the win is what's important. And that's the smart way to talk. So it don't really matter how hard a guy can punch. You know what I mean? But having said that, yeah, Kovalev is probably, I think, I don't know. I can't say for certain because I've never been hit by him. But I think he is the hardest puncher in the division. I think so. I may be wrong. Bitter BF, he may be harder puncher, but he don't stop people like Kovalev has. So he may be the harder puncher. Bitter BF may be the harder puncher, but it's just that he don't stop people. It don't mean necessarily, or he break you down, but he's a harder puncher. We can't really know unless you punch into a punching machine. And even when you do, as Danny Garcia said, and a number of other people said, it's different when you're punching in a fight to when you're punching a machine. So I mean, it is what it is. So, I mean, at the end of the day, it's not really easy to assess punching power and how hard a person punches. That's really a hard thing to assess. Unless you've actually been punched by two people, then you can assess it. And even then, you may not be able to, because, when you get punched, like let's say you get punched and you get knocked out, right? You may not remember you may not even remember getting hit. You know what I'm saying? Whereas the other guy, you might remember him hitting you because you didn't get knocked out. So you might be like, oh man, this other guy, he punched harder than this guy, but you got stopped by the other guy. You know what I'm saying? So, that's why, to me, media asks some really stupid questions. They say, well, how hard does this guy punch? Like, that's a stupid question to ask, because one, boxers, like, either you're not focused on that shit or you are, but you can't really give a good gauge and a good assessment, because you could say this is what some guys say, man, this guy got heavy hands. When he punched me, it's like a thudding punch. And man, when I get punched to the body, I really feel it. Okay? And then with the other guy, he's like, man, this guy got a snapping punch. So he snapped me to the head and I get buzzed in my head. But, that's as much as I could tell you. You know what I mean? Because you can't really tell the person how hard that punch was. Have you guys ever been punched? I mean, the only way to understand this shit is to be punched. Okay? Let's say you got in a fight with somebody, right? I remember I got in a fight with my younger brother. He bigger than me, right? Physically bigger than me, but he's shorter. He and I about the same size. He was smaller than me. I was beating on him. And he just hit me with a 3 to 4 punch combination to the head. My head was bubbling back like this. Do, 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 do. Now, I didn't feel nothing. It didn't feel, because I was pumped and adrenaline was running and I was angry and stuff. I didn't feel nothing. But the sheer force of my head jarring back, I realized the pressure of it. And if you've ever been punched, I've been punched to the body. Shit, that shit hurts like shit. I crumbled to the ground. Another time I got punched in the head, and I didn't even know how many places the guy punched me. I got punched, man. I got punched up, right? I wasn't feeling no pain, but I was crying anyway. I wasn't feeling no pain, but I was feeling weak. And that's all I can explain to you. Like there's certain shots are so hard that like your body doesn't register until a couple days after when you start feeling pain in your body. But the shit at the time, you're not even feeling the shit. But you the effects of the shit has happened. I remember Shane Mosley talking about Manny Pacquiao. He said he hit him with shots that he didn't think was it didn't feel like anything different, but yet it dropped him. You know what I'm saying? Your body just didn't register the shit. So when somebody say how hard does somebody punch, that's kind of like a very fucking weird way to like that shit's so whack and weird. It's a dumb question to ask because it's like really and truly, if you ever been either in a fight or ever been beat up or some shit like that, it's like asking you've been beat up by this person, you beat up by that person. You're like, which beating was worse? You'd be like, motherfucker, I don't know. All I know is I got beat up. That's all I know. Because you're asking somebody an arbitrary shit. The fact is, I got beat up by this dude. I got beat up by that dude. That's the fact that I could tell you. I can't really tell you anything more than that. And I think this is what people just don't understand. They're like, man, how hard does this guy punch? Like, the fuckers don't understand. They always thinking it's power and hardness of shots. And I'm like, man, motherfucker, you just never been in a fight, have you? If you've ever been in a fight, you would understand that shit don't mean shit. The important thing is effectiveness of it. Did I get my ass knocked out? Was I lying on the ground wondering what happened to me? Or was it that I felt pain or I felt pressure or something? But really, I couldn't really tell you what was really going on. All I know is a couple of days later, I had pain. Okay, it's like that kind of shit, and I think a lot of people just don't get it. Like y'all watching a Just Taylor's Eye, and you're like, man, that must be painful. Yeah, it's painful, but not at the time when your adrenaline's pumping and you fighting the fight. You're not really studying the blood and shit. The blood trickling out of Regis Prograis' nose, and when he's trying to suck it in or blow out on it, some more blood come out. Right? You're not supposed to blow your nose when you get your nose bloody, right? And so it's like when people talk about the hardest punches and that stuff, it's so fucking arbitrary. That's why when people say, well, which you prefer, to get hit by Deontay Wilder or to be hit by Chocolatito Gonzalez? I'm like, Ninja, I don't want to be hit by either of them. Are you out of your fucking mind? These are professional pro boxers that have done it to the highest degree. They world champions. They've been world champions for a while, and they both can crack. Well, why the fuck would I want to be hit by any of them? But apparently, a lot of people just don't get it, right? It's like, which way do you prefer to die? Would you like to fall off a cliff and break your neck, or would you like to get shot in a firing squad? Neither, motherfucker. Neither. You know what I mean? Like, these people just don't get it, do they? Pick your poison. I'm like, motherfucker, what are you saying? But people just don't get it. They don't get it. They don't get it. Oh man. So but they like Chocolatito, man. He was like a flyweight and shit. I'm like, no, motherfucker. It doesn't really matter. You don't understand. It only takes a certain amount of pounds of pressure to knock out somebody. And that motherfucking flyweight, which is, I think he's a super flyweight now. That motherfucking super flyweight, shit. That motherfucking super flyweight can crack, motherfucker. He can crack. Yeah, he been facing other super flyweights, but trust me, he been sparring bigger guys. Okay, Guillermo fucking Rigondeaux been putting down. He put down welterweights. So why the fuck would I want to mess with that dude? He putting down welterweights. I'm not, and this is professional welterweights or amateur welterweights. Why the fuck would I want to mess with a guy like that? Rigondeaux can crack. That motherfucker can crack. What the fuck? And he a fucking bantamweight. He's a fucking bantamweight, motherfuckers. Went all the way up to super featherweight and was cracking. Cracking 6 foot tall guys, busting up their eyes and knocking them down. What the fuck would I want to be messing with that for? A chin is a chin is a chin, motherfucker. He hits me you know, he was accurate too. He's an accurate motherfucker. He hit me on the chin. I'm going down. He might break my chin. You know what I'm saying? He break my jaw. So it's like a lot of people just don't understand boxing. I keep on saying it over and 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 over again. Okay. So when people talk about hardest puncher and stuff, I try to explain to people. They wanted me to do that for some list or some shit, and I said, "Well, Marcus McDonald, who give a fuck? I don't know for sure." No. Boxing Monster, good morning. Good morning to you, brother. Boxing Monster said I had it a draw. Prograis versus Taylor. I hear you, man. We're gonna go through that fight. We're gonna go through that fight. I gotta go out and do some things and come back. I saw Taylor running in the 11th and 12th rounds. Fuck yeah. He didn't like it. He was clinching up like a motherfucker and pushing him to the ropes and shit too. Shit. Them body shots, boy. Them body shots. All day. All day. Reggie's Prograis. Body shots. That body work, man. Yeah, so once again, yeah. We're gonna come back in a minute. We're gonna run through that fight. I got it right now sitting down on the television screen for you guys to see. Watch, hold. See. Get right there. I'm saying. I got the fight right there. You think I'm playing? I'm not playing with you guys. I'm ready to run that fight. But we're not going to be able to show it. I'm going to just talk about it. So that means, once again, people, you're going to have to go back to the video before this video. You'll see a link there. Go click on that link. Reset it to 0. Okay? Because we're all going to watch the fight together. Reset the link to 0. And if you can't play it on your television screen, I don't know how you're gonna do it, but if you can run 2 things at once, it'll be good. So you have the YouTube there, and you got that thing there, and you can listen to me comment on it as the round is going by, and then you can leave your comments on it. But we both gonna watch this shit together. If you can't, if you got a television that's a smart television, what you can do is link your phone to the television through mirroring. So go to the mirroring app on the television. It'll mirror whatever it is, so you can actually watch it on the screen while you watching YouTube. That's what I do. So I don't have cable no more. Even though this is a smart TV, so I can always hook up to Netflix. But I don't cable no more. I just got internet. I got to boost my internet stream in this house. I need to get an extra router and move it around so everywhere I can have internet. I don't even have no fucking phones I don't have no landlines, none of that shit anymore. I watch news via the internet. I just put it up on my television screen. Yes, people, the technology is there. You don't have to spend money on cable and all that shit anymore. Everything's online. You can even subscribe online and then project it on the television screen. So I do. Yeah, peoples, man. Don't forget, you can also, like, if you like this video, you can subscribe, share this video on other outlets, man, on other outlets, and I will talk to you guys later. I got to go out and get some things out there, and then I also got to sell some stuff off. But it was nice talking to you guys. So once again, you can get the link. The link is going to be in the video. I could even leave the link at the end of this video, but I'm not going to do that. The link is going to be in the video before this video. So you can check that link, reset it to 0, and I'm going to count to 10, and then we'll all turn on the links together. You have a stopwatch or something, because it's been 10 seconds. You're not going to hear me all through the 10 seconds because the feed's going to be stopped. I'm going to go to the place. We counted to 10. Make sure you got your stop clock synchronized with mine. And on 10, we're going to click the video and both videos. And the stuff's going to start running. The fight will start running. I'll come back here and I'll go back live. And we can comment on it live as I'm watching it. All right? Understand there are 4 criteria which a fight is judged. Defense, effective aggression, clean effective punching, and ring generalship. You must understand that those are the 4 criteria we're looking at. You have to ask yourself the question, who is the guy at landing the clean, effective punches? It's not about numeracy as it is effectiveness. Ask yourself by watching the body language of the fighters, how they react to punches. In addition, you have to also look at who's dictating the fight, who's the ring general, who's the guy that's actually doing his kind of fight and he's succeeding at it. Sometimes you are doing the other guy's fight, but you're succeeding at what they're doing. That means you're fighting the other fighter's fight, but you're out fighting them in their fight. The other thing you got to look at is you also got to look at defense. Defense is so important. If you're making this guy miss, and you're making him pay, then you're the guy that's actually doing the better work. So all of that stuff you got to look at. And you can see very fluidly round by round who's winning the rounds. It's kind of clear. And in this fight, even though it was tit for tat at certain points in the fight, for the most part, I thought the guy who was more effective and the guy who was doing the better work was Regis Prograis. And he was the smaller guy, and he negated the guy's reach, the guy's height, everything. He nullified all that shit from round 1. He did start getting tagged up after the 6 a lot more. Even down to the end of the fight, he was still getting tagged, but he was still got that defense. So because of his defense, he was able to still be the more effective guy with his punches. He was landing the cleaner punches, in my opinion, throughout the fight. They were mostly body punches. All right, peoples. Deuces. I'm out of here. Don't forget, though, you can donate to my channel via Western Union or MoneyGram. You can do it online if you so wish. If you need the details about where I live and so on, which you might need, please let me know. This is what you need. Salute, people. I'm out of here, but you're going to catch me on the breakdown video of Regis Prograis versus Josh Taylor coming up next. Peace.